Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. Actually, it's not the morning, it's actually afternoon. I've just got back from taking my dog for a walk and I was listening to the audiobook and I thought, I'm gonna start a vlog today. I was not intending to start the vlog, but I thought if I'm gonna start this book, I feel like I need to report to you guys about it because it has been going a little bit viral. I need to get some of the books off my TBR done and I have quite a large variety of books sitting on my current TBR. What a better idea than to read a different genre book for a week. Probably I'm going to aim to get 3 books done this week, and I was thinking of currently 2 books which I know for definite that I'm going to read. First one, which is what I started while I was on my walk, which I'm already 10 chapters in and I'm obsessed. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to continue on with my other physical book tonight. I started the audiobook and it was for The Crimson Moth. Kristen Cicciarelli, she wrote The Crimson Moth, and I believe that the Americans may have a different name, which I believe it might be Witch Hunter. Let me double check. Heartless Hunter is what they're calling it in America. So if you're American, that may be what the book is called over there. So many people have mentioned that it's one of their top reads for the year so far already. So yeah, I've started it. I'm 10 chapters in. Rune is a witch. She is currently like hiding in plain sight almost as the witch like collector, I would say. No, that's not right. A collector would be more of a hunter. She's basically trying to save all of the witches that are in hiding and getting them off on these ships and sending them away to a safe place. She is currently working with someone, like a few people that are in her little crew, and they've been working together for quite a while, and one of the guys that she's working with's brother is actually the witch hunter, and he is very well trained and just a very popular witch hunter. Like, he is the one that everyone goes to when they need to find a very high profile witch. He is currently trying to chase her, which she is the Crimson Moth, which everyone knows as, and if they take down the Crimson Moth, they can sort of then start collecting the witches a lot easier, because she's the reason that's like hindering their program that they've got. Yeah, so currently at chapter 10 so far, he has a idea that it could possibly be her, because she is like a socialite that is within like his social circle. Yeah, right now Rune is currently looking for a person to get married to so that she can take some of just like the eyes off her, so she doesn't look like she's just like a single woman. She's trying to get someone who can sort of be her alibi, if that makes sense. And she's going around choosing people, but now she has decided to take up choice of trying to take the witch hunter as her suitable bachelor, because if she's with him, that sort of gives her intel as to like where and what the plans are and what they're doing and who they're attacking, so she can sort of have intel on a higher level. But obviously she is being very cautious because she doesn't know like what his intentions are, and he has taken the route of deciding to try and pursue her in order to figure out if she is a witch. They're both sort of like messing with each other and I'm obsessed with it. Like, I'm so early into the book, but it's so much fun. I was like, no, I need to record this. I feel like this is going to be one of those books that I'm going to be obsessed with. Why have I got this on such a weird angle? I'm going to start Not in Love Tonight by Ali Hazelwood. It comes out in June. That may be my tonight's read, but I want to try read something different. So right now, Crimson Moth is a YA fantasy book, so technically there's 2 different genres there already. Ali Hazelwood's Not in Love will be a romance book. It is currently Thursday, so I'm not even having a full entire week. It's going to be like a 4-day vlog. We'll see how much I can get done in those 4 days. It is coming up to a weekend, and I usually do read like 1 or 2 books on the weekend. And now that I've got this audiobook, I'll probably be able to read a bit more, so that's even better. Happy Friday, my loves. I feel like I may be ovulating because I am feeling skinny. I don't know why, but I'm feeling really good about myself. So I should really get one of those like app trackers so I can see what's happening, but anyway, that's a bit TMI. So last night I did start Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I only got 2 chapters in. And the reason being is because it was late at night. You know when you go ahead and you check the next chapter to see how long it's going to be before you start it? Why did I check this? And the amount of pages that I read for 2 chapters, the next chapter was more than those 2 chapters put together. It was like 30 pages. So I was like, I'm not reading that right now. I just wanted like a quick sweet chapter. Yeah, so I got up to page 22. Not the best, but I mean, I did listen to the audiobook yesterday, so I'm pretty happy with like how much I got through. I'll definitely be reading more during the day today. One thing I've noticed though, the text is minuscule. It is not my usual happy place with this font size. Like I really wanted a different font and different font size. Bride is definitely bigger. Like is it? Yeah, and there's bigger line spacing. I feel like that makes a massive difference. When there's a big line spacing, it doesn't feel like there's so many words thrown at you. So she must have definitely had a higher word count for this book, which in a way is good because sometimes I feel like Ali's books just go way too quick. So far we've met the two main characters. We've got Eli and what's the female? Rue. Rue has just found out that her workplace is being sold to an investor because, wait, I actually learned something yesterday. Ali's so good at like teaching me things in her books, like things I just didn't think I would need to know. Private equity firms, that's what she was teaching me about. Don't ask me, I have no idea fully what it was, but the way that she explained what was happening with this sale of the company, because things on like the profit end weren't going too well, she explained that like another company had bought this company Klein that Rue's working for. So Eli's actually the owner of that other company. I don't know if he's actually the owner, but he works for the other company, Harkness, which has now bought Klein. And so now he is now technically going to be her boss, I think. I haven't got confirmation just yet. I'm only at chapter 2. But I feel like maybe there'll be some workplace relation there. So far, I was really drawn into the book. Like at first I was like, oh, I'm just going to read a chapter or two and just see how it is. And I was thinking that it was going to be like a quick couple of chapters, not like her other books, but because there was just like a lot of text and a lot of writing, it was a lot more than what I thought. And I was like, I'll just read one chapter. I read one chapter and I was like, I'll read another chapter. And then I read that chapter and I was like, do I want to read a third chapter? And that was why I counted. So it's definitely drawn me in, but today I just want to get some more reading done for it because I'm actually really interested to see where it's going. I don't want to give too much away. They technically had met on a date previously before he had bought the company. So they had met, they know each other, they were going to sleep together, but something happened and now they've got like this tension because like they know that they were both attracted to each other and that's why they met up on that date through the app. I'm kind of hoping that there'll be like a one bedroom situation, like a one bed with like maybe a work trip and they have to go away somewhere. That's like a trope I would love to see in this. Maybe some forced proximity with maybe like a project or like they have to do some form of work together. I would love that. She's definitely like the grumpy female main character, which I love, and so is he. So we're gonna get some like good, very blunt banter, which is definitely for me, like I love that. She has those grumpy traits that, you know, a lot of the characters that most people say like, oh, she's mean. I love those characters. Most of the books where the female main character is described as like, you know, very, why am I losing my wording? Not uptight, not up, high maintenance. Oh my god, why had that take me so long? So normally when a female main character is described as like high maintenance or they're just like a very grumpy driven character, they're just like, I don't know, it's like a misogynistic way of looking at that character in a way that's more like someone that I can relate to because I'm like, that's sort of like me. I'm very reserved and it may come off as grumpy to other people, but that's just because of my personality type. I'm very sensitive, so I'm just like, I block myself off from a lot of people. It's the Capricorn in me. Like I'd rather sit back and judge a situation before I go into it rather than just like freely opening up to people that I don't know. I think she'll be a character like that where people will judge her off the bat. Maybe people might describe her as like a mean female main character. She's not. I feel deep down she's probably going to be the sensitive girl and I'm excited to see her character develop in the story. So yeah, I'm already enjoying her and it's only 2 chapters, so. Look what just arrived. I just got back from a walk with Jag and I've been listening to the audiobook for another 45 minutes since I've been back because it's so good. I've already gone and reserved it on the Waterstones app to go and collect it tomorrow. That's how much I'm loving it because I want to have it on my shelf. Yeah, I've got like 7.5 hours left of the audio. So yeah, let's open this. Oh, it's a cake thing. I'm gonna get a bookmark. Perfect. I've been needing some more tabs anyway, so that's gonna go great with the book. Is this a map? I love that. Look how beautiful this arc is. Oh my god. The North Wind by Alexandria Warwick. A mortal woman, an ageless god, a union that will save the world or destroy it. Oh my god, it smells really good. I do love this as well. I love how it's got the foiled. It does come out in May. It doesn't say the exact date. It does smell a bit weird though, like that plasticky smell. Show what I got.
So you're telling me to drive smooth?
Yeah, drive smooth because of falls. First pickup I got was Powerful. Yeah, Powerful by Lauren Roberts, and it's got the sprayed edges. And it was the last one in stock, so it is a bit dodgy, but I still bought it. It was the only book they had in the store actually, so I couldn't even choose one without sprayed edges. And then the bookshop I showed you,
The nice old man.
the nice old man in the shop. I've been in there a couple times now, but I've never actually bought a book, so I felt bad. So I picked up this one, which is Conversation with Friends by Sally Rooney, which my friend Meg actually told me to read because we both love Normal People, and so she said to read this one because it was better than Normal People in the book, not the show. Because I've been listening to Crimson Moth, I had to go pick it up. Now I can actually read it and annotate it, so that'll be really nice. And then, while I was also there, I picked up Leigh Bardugo's new release, The Familiar, with the sprayed edges as well. And look how pretty the end paper is. So pretty. Now we're going to the fishing shop to get him some fishing gear. Yay!
Listen to this ASMR. How good does that sound?
I've realised I should probably check in about my book. I've literally been listening to the audiobook all day today. 250 pages in. I'm obsessed with it. I'm loving the plot, the story, the writing. It's so captivating to the point where I'm not wanting to put it down, and I don't even want to pick up Not in Love at the moment because I'm only 2 chapters in. I think I might finish this tonight and then move to Not in Love because that's all I'm doing today and tonight. But so far I am loving it. Loving it to the point where I went and bought the physical book so I can read along while listening to it. I love it. I love this author's writing. I need to go see if she's got other books out. I don't even know if this is her debut or anything, but I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And it's YA. Chapter 12, page 132. We just had the first fight scene. I'm a fan of Eli. I'm enjoying the book that much that I've started tabbing. I haven't highlighted or anything because I just want to make sure that I don't destroy the art copy, but this angle is not okay. People are either going to really like this female main character or they're going to hate her because of how like headstrong she is. And I think people will probably think of her as like mean as a character, as they usually say when there's a strong female main character. Same thing as like Reckless with Elsie Silver. Really, she's my favorite female main character that there is. Rue is sort of unsure about like how to interact socially. She's very like direct and straightforward, and I think some people might not like that. She's not meaning it in that way, but people will probably take it that way. Yeah, and then Eli, I like him as a character, but I'm also like unsure about like the power imbalance between him being the owner of the company that's like buying out her workplace. She's not quite like that level, so like there is that power imbalance, but also he's not like her direct manager, if that makes sense. She's still got her direct manager above her, which she's reporting to, so it's not like there's like a direct crossover. But I think this might be my favorite book of Ali Hazelwood's, just like with the way that she's writing things. Like there's so many things that they're just very beautifully written, the way she's put words together. Or like this is probably an example of her not like fitting in the way that, you know, society wants you to form. So she was explaining like what her project was, and she said its main ingredient comes from shells and it's combined with lactic acid. Eli's eyes shone with amusement, clearly laughing at me. Suddenly I was the Rue I'd always been, awkward, lost and unable to decipher the nuances of social interactions or to grasp what the hell people found so funny about what I said. Filled with certainty that the world was in on the joke and I'd once again failed to keep up, a beat too late, out of sync. Yet another unbridged summary of my life. And I feel like that sort of like sums her up as a character. Like she's just a little bit different from everyone else. Oh yeah, Eli is also a hockey player. Not like full on, but he was back in his day. Sorry if you can hear the keys, my partner is gaming as I'm reading. Oh, there was another moment where she was like having an issue in her life and he just wanted to make sure that she had someone to call. And she goes, "What about if I just call you?" She joked. And he goes, "Yes, please fucking do that. Do you want my number now or ... And he stared at her, waiting for an answer. Then his eyes softened and a breeze picked up between us. He kept looking. She says, "It's unsettling when you do that." He turned away, chest heaving. "I'm sorry." His Adam apple moved. "I forget to look at other things when I'm around you." Like he says things like, "Rue, it's so humbling how bad I want you." I have so many quotes. I've started at page like 40 this morning. Oh, sorry, page 20 this morning, around there. And I'm already at 132, and I think I'm going to continue reading tonight. I want to try get to page like 200 by tomorrow. I only have 150 pages left. And then I've just got one other short book, which I'm planning to read. I think I'm obsessed with Eli. Like, I'm actually really enjoying this. And if I get 2 5-star reads in a row, like, that's really concerning. Because it's only just going to be downhill for the rest of the month. I've got Hosier's song stuck in my head. I've been watching way too many TikToks. Like my saved TikToks is ridiculous. They are all... I've either got Harry, Paul Mescal. Who else do I have? No, let me go through. Harry, Paul, Harry. It's just Harry and Paul, really. I'd rather take whiskey. I've not read anything this morning or today. Last night I got up to like page 175, I think. So I'm gonna read now. I think Rue might be my favorite female main character that Ali has ever written. I think she is so complex, she's so fascinating, so multi-layered. I really enjoy reading about her and her character. Even I can say the same about Eli because he has those layers as well, but Rue is just another level. It's just so interesting, like we're getting bits and pieces of her and we're slowly learning more and more, and I just think she's so different. Like she's so different from all the other characters and I really enjoy it. And don't get me wrong, she has like moments of self-doubt like amongst like her peers, or like when she doesn't quite understand social cues and interactions, but she's quite like true to herself and she doesn't want to change who she is. And I really enjoy like reading someone who's maybe not quite the same as me. There is some similarities and like definitely like the overthinking of everything, but I just really enjoy her. Like I love Rue. Like I want to protect her. Like that's how much I love her. He said, "Come here." It is Tuesday morning. I'm hoping to get the rest of this book done. I'm at page 293 and I've got till just under 370. About like 80 pages roughly. And I want to get it done now so that I can go home and I can start a new book, which is only probably like 150 pages as well. I'm also thoroughly enjoying this. Like last night, I think I stayed up till maybe 11 p.m. and I hardly stay up till 11 p.m. reading anymore. Like the book really has to capture me, and I don't know if I'm speaking too soon, but I feel like this may be 2 5-star reads in a row. But I could also just be in the hype of it all, so I want to like obviously give my full reviews at the end. But we could possibly be on to 2 5-star reads here. I've not had 2 5-star reads in a row in a very long time. I have like 5 or 6 red tabs, which I usually do at the top of like each spicy chapter so I can remember like the spice levels when I go to review them. This is definitely Ali Hazelwood's spiciest book. Some of these things in here I'm like, this isn't Ali. Like Ali wouldn't write like BDSM stuff. Like what is going on? Like it's such a different vibe to all her other books, but it also still feels like Ali, if that makes sense. Eli just comes out of left field. Like I was expecting it, but I wasn't expecting it because it's Ali. You know, like I thought it was gonna be spicy, but not like this, you know, spicy. Why am I enjoying it? The last chapter I read last night before bed was Rue going through all of her childhood and like why she is the way she is, and it does explain a lot, and I was sort of getting hints of that throughout. Like it wasn't like it was a big surprise. I didn't get emotional though. Like that's one thing that I didn't cry or anything. It wasn't emotional in the sense of I was crying. It was definitely very touching, but I definitely didn't cry while reading it. I'm sorry if you keep seeing me like look up. I've gone to like the racetrack and this is like the view. It's all open fields and it's so distracting. I'm at chapter 30. I'm gonna keep reading. She's such a bitch. One thing about Eli is he's very emotionally like with it. Like he understands that she's not ready for certain conversations and he doesn't push her. It's so refreshing to read. Just a man who's intelligent enough to understand those social cues or like those emotional cues. Oh, I hate her. Shut up. So cute. Such a cute read. I can't believe it's over. Got a bit emotional. Okay, I'm gonna go back home and think about it, but that was really sweet and I actually really enjoyed it. Ali Hazelwood, you just know how to write a good romance. We are back. I've just had some lunch. I've pondered about my review for Not in Love, but I think I'm gonna wait till tomorrow and give you guys a review when I go to edit this entire vlog together. I'm going to move on to my next book because she is a little baby, she is tiny, and I thought this will probably be the last book for my week. This is a literary book. It is Lie With Me by Philippa Besson. It is a book on my TBR, so thankfully I'm getting a book off my TBR. It is a gay romance set in 1984, but I believe it's an author who's reflecting on his first love as a teenager. It was about two 17-year-olds. It starts with a secret, intensely passionate, world-altering love affair between Philippa and his classmate Thomas. I feel like this will be a very short, sweet, but very sad, very emotional, very powerful, and just I feel like there'll be a lot of quotes in here that I'm going to love. That is going to be the book I'm reading this afternoon. So this has been translated by Molly Ringwald as well, so I believe this was actually written in French initially. It's often compared to Call Me By Your Name. Oh no. I'm gonna cry, I know it. I'm excited. I want to cry. Why am I using this? I was using my camera thing as a bookmark. Get a grip, Tash. I feel like I could probably finish this in one sitting too. It says that it's in memory of Thomas, who passed away in 2016. So I feel like this is a true story. And because obviously the author's name is Philippe and it's about a boy named Philippe and Thomas. I'm gonna cry, I just know it. I've already started tabbing some quotes in here because, again, literary, the writing is always perfection. I just wish my brain would work the same way that these people's brains do. Like, it's something else. So he was just explaining about how he's at this school, he is the son of the principal, and that he finds that he is getting judged because of the way that he walks, the way he acts, because he doesn't have a girlfriend, because he doesn't socialize with people. He's very to himself. But what I loved about him as a character is that he says that it's better to be quiet than to be a coward and not be who he is. I'll just read a quote. If I shut up, it's just to avoid being confronted by violence. Is it cowardness? Perhaps. I prefer to see it as a kind of necessary self-protection, but I will never change. I will never think it's bad, or it would be better to be like someone else, or I will lie to them so that they will accept me. Never. I stick to who I am, in silence of course, but it is proud, stubborn silence. I love that Philippe decided that even though people were gonna talk and call him names and be like that at the age of 17, he knew who he was and he wasn't going to back down and change for anyone else. Even if that did mean it puts him at risk of violence, he would still sit in silence rather than not be who he is. It takes so much courage to stay by who you are, even if society is telling you that it's not okay, and for him to even just do that as like a silent protest in what he believes and who he is. Oh, my heart. It stands out to who he is as a person, and I love him already, and I'm 14 pages in. And then I did have a second quote, which there is a couple on this page, but I just think that it's so beautiful. He's talking about how he's been watching Thomas from afar, and Thomas doesn't notice him. He's a very popular dude, he's in different classes, but he knows that he's always like surrounded by people. Philippe just likes to watch from a distance and admire him and who he is and how he interacts. Quote is, to him, I'm a stranger. In this state of one-way desire. I feel this desire swarming in my belly, running up my spine, but I have to constantly contain and compress it so that it doesn't betray me in front of others, because I already understand that desire is visible. Momentum too, I feel it. I sense a movement, a trajectory, something that will bring me to him. This feeling of love, it transports me. It makes me happy. And at the same time, it consumes me and makes me miserable. The way all impossible loves are miserable. Like, whose brain works like that? It's so beautiful, but so simple, and I always say this, but I need to read more literary. It just, every time I read it, it reaffirms why I love it. I'm so glad I did this video because I don't know when I would have picked this up, and I'm already enjoying it so much, and I'm at page 17. I've just got to chapter 60. I just got to page 60. And I just wanted to make a comment about the writing style, because it's not something that I've ever read a book in this format. Is that the right word? Yeah, format. Basically, it'll go back from the start of a paragraph will be maybe the start of a conversation or a start of a new point in the story, and there will be like obviously a break between the paragraphs. They'll explain maybe like a few sentences of what's happening in the actual plot of the story, but then the author will then go into a tangent about what he would think about a situation or how he thinks that the scenario should have gone. They go on a tangent explaining something that like the first part was relating to. By the end of that paragraph, then sometimes it'll go into maybe like a sub paragraph, which is him talking from the present and like giving updates as to like why he was speaking a certain way, or like why a certain event has happened and what he thinks that now meant back then. But I've noticed as well, same as Sally Rooney, there are no quotations in here, so you really got to read and like figure out what's a speech thing and what's not. But it's easier to tell when you're reading, like it's not the hardest thing in the world, because usually afterwards it'll say he said or I then said, and then it moves on. You can sort of decipher which ones are sentences relating to just the narration and then which ones are speech, verbiage. I'm I need to stop talking. Like, I actually don't know English sometimes when I read too much. Like, I've read too many words to then decipher like what a word is in my brain. Adjectives, descriptive words, who are they? What is an adjective? Hello my friends, I've just got back from a walk and doing all my errands this morning and whatever I had to do this morning. I don't know, I feel like I've been so busy but not done anything at all. Last night you would have seen me bawling my eyes out. I was literally hyperventilating crying. I was expecting like a happily ever after for this book, and yeah, I mean all the clues were there. I don't know how I missed it, but anyway, I probably needed a trigger warning just because it was something that was very triggering to some recent events that have happened to me in the last like year or so. Yeah, it wasn't nice. But now I'm in my feels about it, and then I found out after I did some I did a deep dive straight after I finished on TikTok and found out that there was actually a movie made about this book last year. So now I've downloaded the movie and I'm watching it, and then I'm gonna do my reviews after I've finished it. I'm probably not even gonna be in the right state of mind, but that's fine. It's later in the day now. It's about 3:20. I finished the movie about maybe an hour and a half ago and I've just been doing some more stuff. The movie was phenomenal. I think it definitely didn't portray the book specifically exactly how they met and everything that happened, but it portrayed for the most part the general plot of the story. And yeah, maybe the timeline may have been a little bit different because it sort of skipped part 2 in a way, but also didn't. If you read the book and then watch the movie, you'll understand. I think it was really well done. I understand why they made those decisions to change the movie in certain ways. It just flowed a lot better for a movie. And I think it also kept the viewers guessing as to like what was happening and why certain things were happening. But what I loved most about it was that it was told from Philippe's point of view, obviously inside the book and again in the movie. It didn't show Thomas's point of view and like why he was the way he was. It was purely just from his point of view. It was his story and his point of view of their relationship. So I think that was very well depicted against both both movie and the novel. So yeah, I really enjoyed both of them. Both were just as heart-wrenching. I did cry for both. I think when you really like sit and like ponder on why things the way they were and why people made certain choices, it's really gut-wrenching. It really made me very, very sad to think that some people do live their life the way that Thomas lived his. There probably are still people out there who do that today, even though we are in a much more accepting society. But again, there are so many factors into who people grow up around, who their family are, like what their religion is, and there's just so many people across the world where it isn't accepted. I think because we're in such a society where things are accepted like that, sometimes I forget that there are places in this world that don't have that acceptance. And yeah, it really makes you think. I don't know, my brain's been going since last night about it. I actually don't know what I'm going to rate this book, and I'm here to talk about my ratings. Let's go through the genres. This was a YA fantasy book, The Crimson Moth. I actually checked, guys, she has a whole nother trilogy, I believe it is. Let me just double check. I think it is a trilogy. Oh, it's another series, the Iskari series, and she has a book called Edgewood. Anyways, I need to go through her backlist because after reading this masterpiece, it was incredible. I give it 5 stars. Like I said in my other reviews, it was so addicting. Like, it was so, I don't know if intense is the right word because there were moments that it did feel intense, but it was just, there was so much going on. The plot and the drive of the book was so interesting and so fun and very captivating. I was so drawn into the story. Like, I felt like I was the Crimson Moth at points. I thought I was Rue. And that was what really made me fall in love with it, because I just felt like I was there with them going along. And even when they were falling for each other, but they were still very unsure of if the other person was going along for the right reasons, and they believe that they're tricking each other without realizing that they're both doing the same thing to each other, but deep down there is that connection. But then the ending comes in, and the ending just like, you see it coming, but you also don't see it coming, because there are things that happen that I'm like, I was not expecting that. If I could choose every single descriptive word that is a positive thing about a book, I would put it into this. It was so emotional, it was beautiful, it was lovely, it was captivating, it was heart-wrenching, it was suspenseful, it just had everything. Like, I'm just so obsessed with this book, and now I'm going to be obsessed with this series, and I can't wait for the next book to come out, which is in 2025. Anyways, that's going to be my final result. Definitely a 5-star read. 100%. Please go read this. I am obsessed with this. Listen to it in audiobook. Try and hybrid read if you can. Listen while reading. Like, it was such a magical experience. It may be one of my top romantasy reads of the year. Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. I think this is going to be my favorite Ali Hazelwood book. I finished this a couple days ago. No, yesterday. What am I talking about? Yesterday morning. It's been 24 hours and I'm still, usually that's like the time when I'm like, it wasn't that great. Like, my thoughts are different about the book. No, my thoughts are the exact same since I finished that last page. Like, everything about this was so great. I loved Rue as a character. She's my favorite female main character I've read in quite a while, probably since Reckless, as I've mentioned. Rue is very complex. She has layers. She is like an Olga. She has layers. She is an onion. But I do think a lot of people will probably think bad things about this book, because this was definitely Ali's spiciest book yet, without a doubt. Like, there was more spice scenes in this than any of her other books. There is a reason for that, which at the end it does get explained a bit more with Rue. The reason, I think it makes sense for their relationship and her characters, because towards the end you do see so much character development. Like, it doesn't become just purely based on that. Not in Love, I'm going to give it 5 stars. 100% my favorite Ali Hazelwood read. I'm obsessed. I really enjoyed it. It was so good. Lie With Me. I know this is still a bit fresh, but I think I have my answer for what I'm going to rate this. I was thinking a 4-star this morning, but because I have been sitting with this all day, I've now watched the movie and I'm still just mourning everything that I've read in this book, I'm probably gonna give it a 4.5 stars. And I have never had a week like this. Actually, have I? I don't know. I feel like I've not had a week like this in so long, where I've had so many great reads, and I feel like if I have a reading slump next week, it is because of this video. This is how great this video has been. I loved this story. This was so powerful. Do not be deceived. This is not happily ever after. Please do not see it that way. This is someone telling their story through fiction. It is basically almost an autobiography, but it's not. You have to see it through that lens, that the author is telling his story. There are clues as to like what happens at the end throughout the entire book, so yeah, just you have to be vigilant. You probably will guess it maybe within the first couple of pages. What I learned from this book is really the intensity of maybe your first love, and not maybe ever letting go of your first love, and how that first love relationship that you really have can affect the rest of your life and the rest of your relationships with other people. How love can be very intense, and how love can be very all-consuming. I feel like the best way to describe it is when, I think I'll read this quote to try and explain a little bit about how this book makes you feel. So, I wrote the word love. I did consider using another one. It's a curious notion, love. Difficult to identify and define. There are so many degrees and variations. I could have contented myself with saying that I was smitten. It is true that Thomas knew how to make me weaken, or infatuated. He could conquer, flatten, even bewitch like no one else, or obsessed. He often provoked a mixture of bewilderment and excitement, turning everything upside down, or seduced. Once he caught me with his net. There was no escaping, or taken with. I was stupidly joyful. I could heat up over nothing, or even blinded. Anything that embarrassed me, I pushed to the side, minimizing his defects, putting his good qualities on a pedestal. Or disturbed. No longer was I ever quite myself, which would have had less positive connotations. I would have explained it in a way as mere affection, having a crush, an explanation vague enough to mean anything. I think that's probably like a little bit of an insight into like what the book was really about, but yeah, I think I'm gonna go maybe 4.5 stars. I'll let you know on the screen if I do end up changing it, but I feel like this was a very successful different genres for a week. I mean, it was technically like a long weekend, but yeah, very successful and I'm very happy. So I think I'm gonna end up the video here, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to like and comment and subscribe. I'm gonna love you and leave you, and I'll see you in my next video.